I have a word for somebody that may be able to use this. You know, we go back and forth, and I'm not talking about myself personally, but people online have gone back and forth for years and years and years. And I'm pretty sure even before the time of the internet and social media, men and women have gone back and forth on this thing of the battle of the sexes, right? And, you know, in today present time, in our generation, we see a lot of that going back and forth on the internet, the battle of the sexes, and then also the war between men and women. But then, my perspective and the way that I view it and how I stand, my stance on it is, they talk about religion and they talk about all of these other different things, but then we bring up science and they say you can't believe everything in religion, and then you can't believe everything in science or whatever. And it's like, well, what do you believe? But we know that science is based on things that can be proven, right? So we can agree on that, right? Okay, so if that's the case, and then we incorporate parthenogenesis, right? Parthenogenesis, where it was found that the female was able to reproduce herself, and she was able to produce an offspring. Follow me, right? So if that is the case, and the woman was able to reproduce herself without a male sperm, right? She was able to reproduce herself, and she was able to create a progeny. She was able to create an offspring. Then one may be able to come to the conclusion that the divine feminine, or the woman, created the man, or the divine masculine, right? If this is true, right? Because this is what science teaches. If it is true, and it is, then that means that the divine masculine came from us, right? He is a product of us, according to what science says. You can go look it up yourself. Okay, so if the divine masculine is a product of the woman, then that means that the things that he do, and his ways and the things that a man or the divine masculine does, even if it's certain things that the divine feminine doesn't like, or the woman doesn't like, is it safe to say that because he is a product of us, that we created that? So if you created that, that means that you allowed that, and that means that somewhere you may have to be accountable for that, right? So if you have certain challenges or issues with the divine masculine, or with your significant other, mate, your brother, your business partner, or whoever, in whatever type of relationship or capacity with the divine masculine, then that means that he should be influenced, and he should be encouraged in a different way, right? When it comes to the undesirable or the unfavorable, or the things that you may not like, or we may not like about the divine masculine or a man, things that you absolutely dislike, when it comes to these things, it's always good, and it's always important to remember that a man, or the divine masculine, your opposite, but since we're talking about the divine masculine right now, it's always important to remember that the divine masculine is only going to do the things that you allow him to do. So that's not saying that you don't hold him accountable. Everybody on the planet needs to be held accountable. That's how humanity evolves. That's how humanity is going to continue to evolve, as people hold themselves accountable, as long as they are holding their fellow human accountable. Then we grow, we learn, we grow, humanity evolves, everybody is happy, everybody thrives, right? So he must be held accountable, and he should be held accountable, right? But at the same time, I said all of that because The divine masculine, or your man, the man or whatever, he oftentimes does the things that the divine feminine or the woman allows him to do. He needs to be held accountable, but at the same time, there are some women that need this message. They should know, and they should really think about how their dynamic or their relationship with the divine masculine is the divine masculine doing things because he's a product of your environment? Is he a product of you? And is he doing things because you're allowing him to do it? Are you giving away your power? Are you relinquishing your power for the happiness and the well-being of the divine masculine or the man or your partner as a sacrifice? Some sacrifice is good, but all sacrifice is not good. So I just wanted to share my thoughts with someone in regards to that, and I wanted to share this message. You guys, comment, like the video, comment on this, and let me know what you think about this. What do you think about the dynamic of the divine feminine and the divine masculine, specifically as it relates to the romantic situation in a romantic sense? Ashe.